I can answer any questions, Gary. No problem with that. I mean, it is really easy to use. It's not C++ or anything like that. So if you scroll down to get this file in view.
Okay, so we're looking at metamapper.
JSON. So this is like the dependency file.
The package.json.
Yeah. So it gives, stop there, you got the name of the package, the version is telling you it needs node 6.2. Then it's got the list of dependencies, which for most Node applications, this is quite small. Usually this list is huge. Then the next object is the scripts object. Can you see that? So what it's saying there, in order to start this, you essentially type in node server.js, and that will fire up the application. See that? Yeah?
Yeah.
So that's it. So what you would do is either download the zip file and unzip that in Windows from GitHub, then do an npm restore.
Okay, well, what we want to do is we want to check out the file, right? Because we want to make a branch for. We actually don't want to make a branch. We want it to support both Slack and Mattermost. So just go into git bash here. cd git. And then I just do a git clone, and I paste in the address. Whoops, what do I do? Copy path, find file, metamapper. I go back to metamapper, and I hit clone or download, and I copy the address, and then I paste in the address, and I did copy it, didn't I? Clone or download. I hit copy. It didn't say copied though. I did something wrong. There we go. Okay, so I do a CD metamapper. And here we have all the files that are in the top level of the directory. And the README in this case is not very helpful. It doesn't have any instructions. We might want to fix that. Put some instructions in there. This is, we want to collaborate. We want to work together. We want to help each other. Or we each do a little and a lot gets done. So what's the first thing we do here?
Well, the first thing I do is just to check you've got no. You talking to me, Jim?
What?
You're talking to me?
Yes.
So what I would do is check you've got Node installed. So we can't do anything now until we've got Node. So it's just -v. Node dash. That's it. Yes, but it's quite an old one, that. But we won't worry about that just yet, because the dependency in JSON So it's 6.2 and you've got 6.9. So we're okay for that. The latest version is 8. It's got a leap forward. It's got all the new
gotta figure out
Lambda.
how to upgrade that on here. I guess I just reinstall it.
Yeah, just go to the site, download the install package, and then it's straightforward. There's no uninstall or anything like that. So what you now need to do with Node applications is install the dependencies. So it's npm. You use the Node package manager. M for mother. npm.
Node package manager. I know that's not what it stands for, but that's what it means.
Install. And this can sometimes take a long time, but my guess is it shouldn't take too long with this. We've got Express, a few asyncs. It's also got a dependency on Mongoose, which is the MongoDB. So I don't know whether this needs a database backend as well.
Mongoose?
Yeah, that's like the driver for MongoDB. I'm pretty sure it is. But we'll soon find out when we try and run it.
Well, you know, the database has to have a database. It must be Mongo. The database, you know, it's updating the database to for metamaps, I think. Oh, it's done. So this is all the stuff that it installed.
I'm not going to say anything. It works. That's the thing it does.
Okay, so now we start.
So that's the thing you could try now, and I guess we're going to get an error message because we haven't got. Well, it'd be interesting to see what happens. It's not going to.
We haven't configured it for what Slack or Mattermost we're going to tie it to. Obviously, it needs to be configured. So where's the configuration file? I guess we can look here. Let's look at bots.js. This is the metamap bot. Require create from Slack. Create from Slack. Create from Slack. So it requires all this stuff.
Go down and look at that README right underneath there.
Yeah. Oh, look at that. Require this module. Call the function. If this model exports with the following. Okay, so we create a bot. Require from Slack. So, so yeah, he creates metamap out. And then so it's the channel setting. Okay, so this is probably in the channel settings. Verify as authorized application to the metamaps instance.
Path date.
Some kind, you must be running some kind of server that can verify as an authorized application to the metamaps instance. So I mean, I have an account, I think, on metamaps. I know I have an account. I can sign on to it.
I have an account.
Okay, so there are some comments, which is good to know. What was it? It was channel settings. Channel settings. Okay. Channel settings is not included because that's where he keeps all the secrets, and it can't be published on GitHub. But it's going to be setting up tokens and teams and the such in the missing channel tokens. But I wish we had a template for the channel tokens, an example. Oh, here's an example. This is the server.js. Oh, that's the example. Models.team, models.token, models channel setting. Okay, let's look at the server. Oh, well.
What does the metamapper do?
It does a lot of things. it lets you what Robert demonstrated to us was the ability to type commands in Slack that update the diagram in real time. It has some other things that involve polling.
Yeah, like doing surveys and outputting the results of the current survey.
Yeah, and
and creating surveys in real time and
I like a hello.
welcome. Is this Connor?
Yeah.
Hey, welcome.
Hey.
We were just hoping you would join us.
So I don't have long, but I wanted to at least like say hello and help provide an overview in any way that I could. I have maximum about 5 minutes.
Okay.
But I'm.
I guess give us the 2-minute overview of what exactly Metamapper is and what it does.
Yeah. Well, Metamapper, it started out because we wanted to create an integration between Slack and metamaps, right? So we wanted to be able to do commands and create data within metamaps from Slack. Now the first thing the first step to doing that is making sure that Slack users are verified independently as themselves with their metamaps account. So that when they create data within metamaps, it's verified as them, it's not just creating it as one user. So each person needs to individually sign in and link their Slack account with their metamaps account. The same thing would be true of a mattermost thing. However, that's not the only way that it could be used. Certain actions, such as fetching public data, you don't need to be verified as a metamaps user. So you can request maps from metamaps without being verified as a metamaps user. You just won't see any private data. So then, on top of some of the basic commands like creating topics and showing and listing your data back, like you've already sort of seen something really similar with the dig command. We built some most recently we built some more sophisticated functionality. Sorry, I'm busy. Ones which allow, as Robert's maybe described to you, there to be a facilitator and there to be participants, and the facilitator to guide a simultaneous session in which many people are participating, and they're participating each privately with the bot within their DM, their personal conversation with the bot. A lot happens kind of like, there's all of this parallel interaction where all these users are interacting with the bot and they're all working together on a sort of a common goal under a facilitated experience with the facilitator. I actually will be able to send you a video of this in action because we recently did a big prototype and and captured screens, did some screen grabs and
Yeah,
stuff.
we'd love to see that. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's the best way. Honestly, it's hard to sort of picture. That's why we did the video. So I'm working on putting that together. But the
Connor, two of us have seen metamaps in action, so to speak. Could you go over the code a little bit and give us a author's eye view of the code?
Yeah. So first of all, to interact with Slack, Slack has built quite a nice library for engaging with Slack to creating a Slack bot. Basically, Slack has built this nice node.js package, which kind of abstracts away a lot of the complexity of interacting with creating a Slack bot, and so I just include that package, and for example, I can run simple functions like bot.send message and pass it my message, and it's up and away to Slack and creates my message, right? So throughout the code, there's some references to RTM bot. An RTM bot is a Slack bot which has joined a particular team. And so it's an object which represents the bot, and you can do RTM bot.post message, and it sends a message as the bot. So there's this in the code, it's very easy to send messages. The other side of things is as the bot listening for messages, right? Messages from other people. And when you hear certain messages, you want to perform certain actions. So that's about listening in the code for certain matches, for certain things that people say. And if the bot hears them say that, then it goes and tries to perform the action, such as if a person says help, then the bot hears them say help, and it responds with a message. Now, in terms of integrating with Mattermost, I was having some ideas about this, which pretty much is that if we could simulate what the Slack library does for Slack with the Mattermost library that does the exact same thing or the equivalent thing, then we could easily kind of make it work in both instances. And the beautiful thing is that Mattermost, in its design, was designed very closely to parallel Slack. So in that sense, there's very few changes that need to be made. It's quite easy to draw a correlation between the two because there's very strong overlap in their technical design. So I don't know if either of you saw in the Mattermost, the metamaps channel, I created a document which says metamapper to Mattermost, and I wrote some of this up, linked to some of the libraries that are relevant. I guess, Gary, are you in the Holochain Slack or
the Holochain Mattermost, but not the Slack?
Yeah. No. The Mattermost, yeah. And you're in the metamaps channel?
Actually, my Mattermost is frozen again.
Okay, yeah, I don't see you here. But
let me restart Mattermost.
Mm-hmm. It's the latest message. There's a link there to a paper.dropbox.com. Gary, were you able to see, or Jim, were you able to see that?
Yeah, I have it now. Okay.
And it's visible to you, right? Yeah.
Yes, metamapper to mattermost.
Yeah. It's a mouthful. Great. I see Jim and guest viewing here. Yeah, so I go over some of it here. I can keep working on this document, and so I just started today. I'm trying to refactor the code a little bit so that it's better documented and easier to read. And I can keep refactoring and adding comments. I probably won't have time to write the Mattermost port, but I can do everything that I can to make the code as accessible as possible to that. Jim, you're muted.
Yeah, and you know, from time to time, you could coach us. You know, drop into one of these meetings or at another time to handle the issues that we're having.
Yeah.
But probably while you're going through this refactoring, documenting thing, probably the most productive use of our time in the noobs group is to actually run an instance initially against Slack. We have a test Slack that we can use, and I guess we need a test metamaps too to run against.
Yeah, you can integrate it. You can link it to metamaps.cc though.
That would be a lot easier. That would be easier.
Yeah.
Now we can use the accounts we have on metamaps.cc to authenticate.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll continue to document some of the setup steps.
Yeah, it seems like there wasn't a lot. It seems like there's one whole directory missing. What was it? Channel settings. Oh, models, channel settings. So I didn't look in the right place. Yeah, that's there. Okay.
I'll give you a quick tour of the code then. So models are the MongoDB, the Mongo models. They're currently representing the only things which are stored in the database. And the things which are stored in the database are channel settings, which are exactly what it sounds like they are. They're settings for a particular channel that are modifiable within metamapper. Teams. So teams there's one team in the database for every team that has added metamapper to their team or their workspace. So now in Slack, they're called workspaces. So it might be good to rename that workspace, which kind of, we'll have to modify it to be accessible and say whether it's a Mattermost team or a Slack team, because we may need to do slightly different things depending on which one it is. Token represents a stored token for a particular user in a particular team linked to their MetaMask account. And as I've noted in some comments there, those tokens should be encrypted, but currently they're not because we're just starting to get this more to a more secure level and not just experimental.
Yeah, we're in prototyping mode.
Yeah. I just moved some of the endpoints, pretty much all of the endpoints, into routers. There's routers, or there's endpoints related to Slack, integrating with Slack, and those are in the Slack router. And there's endpoints related to integrating with metamaps, and those are in the metamaps router. Add-ons, the add-ons router is just a couple of like random endpoints, ones that need a little bit of cleaning up or aren't that important. Server.js is the main file that you run. It opens up a connection to the database. It grabs all of the teams from the database, and it starts a bot for every single team. It starts an instance of a bot. Now, start bot per team is where a lot more of the complexity enters in terms of where it actually gets into like managing a bot and all of its commands and all of its sort of event listeners and everything. And all of that is in create from Slack. So the heavy majority of the code is in this create from Slack folder. And this code is probably the most difficult to follow, but some of it hopefully is not too hard to interpret. One of the main files of interest is the commands, the commands.js file, which at least in this sense is kind of nice. If you scroll down, maybe I wish I could paste into this chat somehow, but from line 169, I'll put it into the mattermost. From line 169 to line 473, we're defining a big array of possible commands that that the metamapper can respond to. And if you want to add a new command, you just add another object and make it look kind of like the other object. You specify what the command is. You specify whether it should appear in the help list. And then there's two functions, one called check, which consumes the message and returns true or false, depending on whether it should run this command. And then run is what it should actually do if there's if it should run the command. That's kind of and then require user is set to true or false, and that means does someone need to be authenticated with metamaps to do this command or not? And if they do, then it'll automatically just return and say you need to be authenticated. And if they don't, then it will just perform the function. So from there, that's kind of the basic functionality. All starts in this this commands file. Which is under create from Slack, Jim. Yeah. Yeah. Can I post in there? Yeah. Well, before I go, can I just, I'd love to just hear quickly from any of you, what's really incentivizing this conversion? What's really got you excited or interested to work on this?
Well, I have strong interest in AI bots, and the fact that we had, or that you had tied your a slackbot, to this visualization tool got my attention right away.
Mm.
And the fact that we are trying to expand the social ledger to holochain, and seeing, or recognizing that you possibly wanted to expand metamapper to holochain, just looked like an excellent opportunity to collaborate on some common areas of interest and expertise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I certainly can echo that. I think there's a general interest in the visualization, and certainly collaborative visualizations in life, and I think it's a great test bed for a metamapper and the tool that you're making. And beyond that, it's all about the data. We have a good collaborative way to get the data, great. And a great visualization, great. Certainly we're not, we have several visualizations that we do already, and this is another one, but this one really can tie closely to the social ledger, in that we can integrate it so that the metamap is built along with the ledger, and it may even become the place where our metadata is kept about the behavior of the social objects in the metamap. So our specific application is social objects, and keep, and then having a visualization is a plus, a big plus.
And it's through Robert that you mostly kind of came upon this. Am I right?
Yeah, I think maps has come up a number of times before Robert.
And Adam also, aren't you an associate of Adam's, Connor?
Adam who?
Okay, maybe I'm getting him confused, but I thought...
Yeah. I can't think of an Adam that we might both...
He's with the S7 Foundation, and I thought he had some connection to MetaMap, but...
Okay.
Yeah, I think he's mostly connected with holochain.
Okay.
And, I think metamaps has been around for a while, and I think many of the Dig Live people have been exposed to it, more or less. A lot of the visualization work that going on there is in Kumu, and so there's a desire for people to have Kumu, but there's a lot of things metamaps can do that, and it's open source. It's accessible to anyone, which, accessibility is a big driver.
Yeah. Yeah, so, it's more a part of the ecosystem in that way. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're evolving, a bot ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
And, we're working with Collaborative Technology Alliance and Open Application
Yeah, excellent.
Ecosystems, folks who
Yeah.
grew out of Philo.
Yeah.
And, I don't know if we can cooperate, if we can get it together. But the idea is to evolve toward an ecosystem where we can have personal bots and group bots that we can wire together with the social. Okay.
Cool. Thanks for that. All right, I'd better run all. John.
The metamapper to mattermost driver or shim or whatever you want to call it, the document that's in Dropbox, is it okay for us to keep an eye on that to follow it?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks.
Yep, for sure. Yeah. So why don't we do this? Why don't we say in the next 2 days, before you fork the code or try to do anything or do anything like that, give me 2 days to document, refactor, and set you up with sort of the best that it can be in terms of a starting point. And after those 2 days are up, then maybe kind of start in with whatever's there at that point.
Yeah. Well, the first step, we'll just be getting it to run with Slack. Just get that up. We need some hand holding in that process.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then we can start to experiment.
Yeah.
What if we just go to Mattermost instead? What error do we get?
Yeah.
Don't forget the link to the video, Connor.
Yes, I was going to ask about the video.
Yeah. Okay. I haven't put it together or put it online yet, but that's one of the things that I'll do as well.
Great.
In the next 2 days.
Awesome, man.
That's fantastic. Thank you so much for helping us with this.
Yeah. I'm excited. I'm really excited. This is cool. Thanks, everyone.
All right.
Checking out.
Bye-bye. Oh, well, that was great timing.
Yeah, it's a good thing we were here.
Exactly. Always keep the fires burning.
Yeah, so I'm going to stop the recording now. Unless there's some questions or something that we want to preserve.
No, I don't.